inside this gym. Your officials today, Ray Natilli, Marcus Pettigrew, and Chris Pacey. Baylor's in their home whites. It's the road cardinal red and gold trim for the Iowa State Cyclones, and we are underway. Keontae George controls the opening tip.
As good a three-guard backcourt as there is in the country. That's been proven time and time again. They space it, they dribble it, they drive it, and they shoot the three.
They shoot and make more threes than anybody in this conference. Now 10 on the shot clock. Here's Jalen Bridges. Out to George. First shot off the mark. One and done for the Bears.
Cyclones have been leaking oil recently, but the practice last night we attended, very spirited. It's a mature team with a lot of veterans.
Trey King making just his second start this season. First in the Big 12, he's 0 in red with the ball. Now 8 to shoot for the Clones. They're used to milking the shot clock.
Gotta go quick.
3 to shoot. Kalsher doesn't see it, and it's a shot clock violation.
Gotta have that shot clock in your head. Gabe's too experienced to not know that when he caught that ball, he had about 3 on the clock, and not a good start.
TJ Otzelberger's club has lost 6 of their last 7, 8 of their last 10 after a tremendous start to the season. Baylor, conversely, has won 6 of their last 8 to improve to number 7 in the nation.
Good ball movement side to side, random pick and rolls. And again, the creativity of these guards is what makes the offense go. Number 2 in the country.
There's L.J. Pryor, one of the best three-point shooters in the country, off in the mid-range.
Now, TJ Otzelberger told us last night, Rich, he would love a muddy game. He would love a slow-paced, ugly game, especially early.
According to KenPom, number 327 in the nation, slowest tempo. There's freshman Tamin Lipsey having a tremendous first year in Ames. Kalsher, step back 3. That's an air ball.
Gotta shoot it.
Ripped away by King, blocked out of bounds by Jalen Bridges.
Good start for Baylor. Remember, they're 84th in the country in defense. That's unlike these Bears. I think it's the worst since about 2008, 2009. So right off the bat, 2 good possessions.
Here's Flo Thamba, winningest Big 12 player in Baylor history, playing his final game in the regular season for the Bears. Wagner gets in the paint. Float game. Off the mark. Trey King the rebound.
Same thing now. Iowa State not happy with the first 2 possessions, but they want to keep the tempo low.
There's Lipsey. Kalsher off again. Another rebound for George.
Obviously, transition D critical for the Cyclones because Baylor will shoot the quick 3.
Now Bridges from the wing.
I'll tell you, from the time we saw him back in November and December to now, the most improved Baylor Bear, I believe. He is exactly what the doctor ordered when he transferred from West Virginia.
Averaging just shy of 11 points a game in the Big 12 this season. Jalen Bridges opens the score. Rob Jones lost the handle, got it back, and puts it in for the first bucket for the Cyclones.
Rob Jones, a transfer from Denver, second year. He kind of epitomizes the work ethic that TJ Otzelberger has brought to Ames. Do not feel bad for this Cyclone team. The future is extremely bright with the number 7 recruiting class.
And now an offensive foul called on Flo Thamba, his first.
Let's go back, Rich. We talked about quick ball movement, quick shot. Bridges right time, right there, no hesitation. It's a guy that early in the year when we watched him, man, was he struggling with his shooting? And that's improved, but the dirty work, I compare him to, really to me, he and Kevin McCullough come out of the same DNA, if you will. Gritty, tough, hard-nosed glue guys.
Inside, Holmes.
Another guy who's had a terrific year. TJ Otzelberger hit the lottery, so to speak, with his transfers. Oshuna Yee and Holmes, the 2 St. Bonaventure guys.
Shuni on the floor, as is freshman Demarion Watson, number 4. And Jazz Kuntz guarding Bridges.
What did TJ tell us last night? Everybody's playing today.
Right. They're looking to get some of that chemistry back, some of that energy back that they had in the beginning of the season. Here's Shuni, taken away by Thamba.
LJ Cryer did not play in that opening game up in Ames when the Cyclones beat these Bears.
Straight line drive. Keontae George with a chance at a three-point play.
I don't think anybody who is a Baylor Bear fan could be disappointed with this young man's season. The number 3 high school recruit in America.
When Keontae George went out 7 minutes in with that rolled ankle, Dale Bonner answered the bell. 13 points against the Horns, and then 15 on the road in Stillwater. And Keontae George misses the chance at three-point play, but Baylor gets it back.
Everyday John in the lineup as well.
Wagner into the heart of the Cyclones defense. Same thing with George, but he turned it over.
A little too much traffic in there, but the idea was good. Swing it, drive it. Swing it, drive it.
We talk so much about the Cyclones defense. What do they try to do offensively?
Slow the game down, move it side to side, and try to get open shots like that. When Kuntz, Kalsher, Holmes are hitting threes, they become a very dangerous team. They've proved it all year long.
That's a great sign for TJ Otzelberger. Jazz Kuntz was 3 for 17 from 3 in his last 4.
Little 1-3-1 zone by the Cyclones. They'll use this about 5% of the time and usually out of timeouts. Just throw you a changeup. Danger is that.
3 is off the mark. Scramble for the loose ball. It's going to stay Baylor basketball.
Excellent job by Bridges and Everyday John. I think what's happened with the injuries, Rich, and let's just get this clear. Langston Love out today with an eye injury. He's day to day. But some of these injuries have actually helped Scott Drew elongate the bench. You know, you're seeing more of Love. You're seeing more of Bonner. Everyday John is back. Chamwa Chachua. I like to say that. I like saying it.
What a remarkable story he was. 9th game back. Got injured.
Yep.
Last year on this floor. People thought his career was over.
50 feet away from where we're sitting about 54 weeks ago.
Here's Bridges, top of the key. Too strong. Kalsher, the long rebound.
Good pace for the Cyclones so far. They kept the Bears out of transition. They're muddying up the game, and that's what they have to do.
Again, Baylor needs a win and losses by Kansas State and Texas if they want the number 2 seed in Kansas City in the Big 12 tournament next week. And we're going the other way. College basketball over on ESPN later today and tonight. Number 3 Texas and number 9 Kansas in that rematch at 4 Eastern. Texas can still be a 2 seed as well. Duke and North Carolina, the greatest rivalry in the sport, at 6:30 Eastern. And then number 4 Arizona and number 8 UCLA in a Pac-12 title bout, 10 Eastern.
And congratulations to Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks, who have, not shockingly, won another Big 12 regular season title.
Baylor right now is, according to Joe Lenardi, our resident bracketologist, listed as a 2 seed.
Yep. Kansas is the 2nd overall seed. And ironically enough, the number 1 overall seed, Alabama, was beaten by the number 10 team in the Big 12 by 24 points. I think, Rich, when it's all said and done, because of all the quad 1 wins, Kansas will be number 1 overall. Doesn't really matter. They're going to Des Moines. And Eli King is making a cameo. Young man out of Minnesota who's played very little this year. But as we talked about, TJ Otzelberger said, we got nothing to lose. We're going to play as many guys who can show us that they want to be out there.
Yeah, he's only played 6 games, 3.4 minutes a game. But he's a man of his word. He said to us yesterday, a lot of people are going to be playing. Get ready to go in.
And earlier in the week, they suspended Caleb Grill. They dismissed him from the team. Young man who is known T.J. Otzelberger a long time. He didn't live up to the standards of the program. T.J. explained a lot of it last night to us, and it hurts. It hurts the team a little bit. It hurts Caleb. He's had a really good career, and having said that, this is a veteran team that moves forward. Nice drive.
Lipsy drew the foul. Well, Caleb Grill, just going back to the beginning game of the Big 12 season that you and I were in the Ames, when they beat this Baylor team, Caleb Grill hit 5 3-pointers in that game.
He had some great games. He destroyed North Carolina, but T.J. Otzelberger, Rich, I mean this sincerely, he is building a tremendous program here. The recruiting class coming in, wait till you see Omaha Ballou, one of the top 10 players in America from Waukee, Iowa, really Des Moines. And sometimes you just have to put your foot down and say, if we let any of this go, it just destroys the standards that we have for our team. If you would have told me 2 years ago, hey, by the way, T.J. Otzelberger's first 2 years, they're going to be a Sweet 16 team. In year 2, they're going to the NCAA. Every Cyclone fan would have said, we'll take it.
Absolutely. 7 top 25 wins. That's the most in the nation. 4 top 10 wins, second most in the nation this season for T.J. Otzelberger's.
Little zone now. And Connor Hawley is out there, Rich. The former Kansas football player.
That's right. There's Hawley, 23, but it's 23 in white. JTT, Jonathan Chamochachua, his first bucket.
I want you to watch him, Rich. Watch how much talking John does. He is the quarterback of the defense.
Picked off by Bridges in the open court. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay Baylor basketball, down by 2 with 12:10 to go.
Watch John Chamochachua right here, getting his sea legs under him, so to speak, and finishing up off a nice dish by Jalen Bridges, who we talked about, Rich, just have fallen in love with the way he has fit into this program. And I mentioned McCullough, ironically, 2 guys who played in the league who've transferred to other schools and have had tremendous roles this year.
Flagler skip pass, now one more to Bonner. Off to the right. And good job by Eli King. Letting that ball go out of bounds. It'll be Iowa State ball with a 2-point lead on the road. Big 12 finale in Waco.
Stay in touch with a lot of the guys that are now off to NBA and other places, and I'm having the time of my life. I really am. I can't wait for Kansas City, and it's a great honor by my peers, really. I did find out that one of the people that recommended me for the award, along with some great coaches in this league, how about George Niang?
Oh, yeah.
Former Iowa State star. George, I love you, man. You're having an amazing career. Oh!
The Sixers.
Trey King. I want to tell you about this guy. Next year, he's going to be a rock-solid 12-8 guy. He's going to be really good as they go back to the 1-3-1 zone. And that substitution that T.J. Otzelberger made, I actually think it energized those guys.
Yeah. King almost with the interception, but a kickball.
Dean Smith, the great Dean Smith, one of the all-time great coaches we revere. See all those guys? Some of them have just played in the game for the first time in months.
Right.
Dean Smith used to have a blue team of walk-ons and back of the roster guys, and he'd throw them into a game for 2 or 3 minutes just to give the team energy. And I thought those guys that came in, Hawley, King especially, you never see, give them credit. They're on the floor in the Big 12, and they did a nice job.
And now Hassan Ward getting some playing time as well.
Yeah, Hassan, the young man from VCU who hasn't been able to find a niche. And this is, I'm telling you, Rich, playing on senior day is not easy. And Cyclones right now taking advantage.
Hassan Ward hasn't played in almost a month. Gets in the game, gets his first touch, and gets a bucket. Iowa State up 6. Almost halfway gone by. Trying to add to that lead. Holmes can't. Caleb Lohner the rebound.
Cyclones have got back in transition, and they've gotten to shooters. And the key when you guard Baylor is make them make tough twos.
Lohner for 3. Off the mark. Weak side rebound to Holmes.
I don't think Scott Drew needed that shot right there. I love Caleb Lohner's energy, but I thought that was too quick.
Baylor, the best offense in the Big 12, has scored on 2 of their last 10 possessions.
Well, Trey King, the transfer from Eastern Kentucky, who it took about 2 years to get him eligible because he transferred to Georgetown, then Iowa State. Love his energy. And watch the little dump off here. Hassan Ward, young man who transferred from VCU, a shot blocker. Hasn't had a chance to get a lot of time because of the way Oshuni and Robert Jones have played for the Cyclone team. But stepped in today, so far, good stop.
That's going to be Baylor basketball. Iowa State is based on 2 words, multiple efforts, right? They are a hard-working team, but they have a lot to play for today, Fran. They could be as high as a 5 seed going into Kansas City next week. They need a win and some help to do that, but with a loss and some other things happening later today in the Big 12, they could be as low as a 7, which would put them playing Wednesday night instead of Thursday.
Last year, this team finished 7-11 in the Big 12 and went to the Sweet 16. So even without Grill, this team is capable of doing some damage in the tournament.
Nice take by Jalen Bridges. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. That's the second foul on Jazz Kuntz. There's Scott Drew. You know, I don't know if you're a Ted Lasso fan. The next season starts March 15th.
I know that.
I call Scott Drew the Ted Lasso of college basketball. He leads with positivity. And that culture of joy that he's created here is a real thing.
My man James out there in the parking lot, who we wave at every time we come to the Farrell Center, he said to me this morning, Coach, I think you're in Coach Drew's spot. I said, he won't mind. I did move my car, but we both agreed, James and I, that Scott Drew never has a bad day, seemingly.
Yeah.
Yep. And what a job he's done. He's headed to the Naismith Hall of Fame. I'll take that one to the bank. And we've watched him just do an incredible job here. So much so that it's the talk of college basketball. Nice job.
Oshuni with his first bucket. And clearly Iowa State doing what they always want to do. Get the ball in the paint and get the bucket from there.
Yeah, they've done a good job of controlling tempo, without a doubt.
So far, Adam Flagler scoreless. Keontae George with just 2, and no points for L.J. Cryer.
Flo tried the back cut, but Kalsher is a very savvy defender, Gabe Kalsher. Really had 2 terrific years at Iowa State. Nice pass.
Yep. Holmes pays it off.
That's the play in this league you have to make. Because of the no-middle defense, you must skip it to the other side or you must cut from the other side. And this league is so good, it's a copycat league because great coaches copy from great coaches.
A 13-4 run, the largest lead of the game so far for Iowa State. Now 8 to shoot for the Bears. Flagler, tough 2. One thing you could say about Adam Flagler, he loves making tough shots.
And he usually uses the backboard. That time he didn't have the opportunity.
Jazz Kuntz had one earlier, couldn't get that one to go. Here come the Bears. Deep 3, L.J. Cryer off the mark. And it'll be Iowa State basketball when we come back.
That's been a good start for the Cyclones. Pretty savvy right here. Watch the drive. Under control, jumps. Every time I see Kyle Green, the defensive coordinator for this Cyclone team, I say to him, you have a son playing in the NBA. That is so cool. AJ played at Northern Iowa. And so great to see him make it rich because he was hurt as a senior. The mock draft guys swung and missed on him, didn't do their homework, and the Bucks did. 48% from 3 catch and shoot, and Giannis needs that around him. Crowder, Connaughton not really shooting it great yet. Kyle Green's made a nice impact.
Here's Holmes.
Can you imagine having you and I have sons that play basketball?
Gosh.
Imagine telling people your son plays in the NBA.
Fantastic. How about a buzzer beater 3 from Jazz Coots?
I don't think TJ Otzelberger could have drawn it up any better than this. And if you're a Cyclone fan, you know the future's bright, but you have to just absolutely love the way he connects with his kids.
So far, everything going right for the Cyclones on the road, up 20-11.
Here's a late clock play. Remember, the first 2 possessions of the game for the Clones were shot clock violations. This time, ball movement and Jazz Coots, who at times lately has struggled behind the arc, but very capable of getting hot and does a lot of things for this team.
In his 8th game back, he broke his finger right before Big 12 play, missed the first dozen games. Now he gets the rebound.
And he just got fouled. No way. Nope. He got pushed. That's a foul. Good effort by Coons. Tough shot by Bonner in the lane. Let's take a look. He got pushed. That is called a foul, even in junior varsity high school basketball.
Now it's Cryer, still scoreless. Averages 14 a game. Bridges, aggressive.
Good challenge. Really, really sloppy performance right now by the Bears.
And Chris Pacey's going to catch Flo Thombo away from the ball with the foul.
Now, I'm telling you, Rich, I live this. A lot of coaches who now sit over here and we're experts because we're undefeated. It's really hard. Senior day, there's so much going on. You're worried about families coming into town, the emotion of guys like Thombo, Flagler playing their last game here. It's not the normal warm-up routine because they spent 6 minutes on the court honoring the seniors, the managers, and Baylor's playing like it. They really are.
Yeah. And you go back to that December 31st Big 12 opener. Remember, these 2 teams played in Ames, and Baylor went down by 15. It was a dominating performance by the Cyclones. Rob Jones, a chance at a 3-point play.
A terrific roll to the rim. That's catching that ball as a big man like that. That's like a tight end over the middle.
You touched on this earlier, Fran. TJ Otzelberger, 45 years old, came back to Iowa State. He was an assistant there for 3 different head coaches, came back to Iowa State to take his dream job, and all he's done is won 12 games against top 25 teams in his first 2 years.
Kudos to Jamie Pollard, the athletic director, because he hit it on the head. I thought Jerome Tang 2 years ago would have been a terrific choice, and obviously he probably would have been. Watch Big Rob right there.
Missed it. King couldn't follow.
But they got it right. He loves Iowa State. Of course, Jerome has gone on and done an amazing job at K-State.
And Kalsher's going to be whistled for that foul.
You know what a lot of people don't realize? Credit to Gene Taylor, the AD at K-State, because obviously the last couple of years, we were lucky enough to watch Jerome Tang and what he meant to Scott Drew and his program. And last year at the Big 12 tournament, Gene Taylor interviewed Jerome Tang while they were playing in the tournament, and Jerome, from what we were told last night, by the way, had to be pushed to take that job because he wasn't sure about it. But is he sure now? I'd say yes. What an amazing hire.
Yeah, Naismith finalist for National Coach of the Year. There's L.J. Cryer, finally cracks the seal.
DJ not happy that L.J. got an open look, but it's hard to keep these Bears down for too long in the backcourt.
Just the second 3-pointer for the best 3-point shooting team in the conference.
First time the crowd's been into it, so Cyclones have to keep their composure, and that will help. That will help. Yep. Jaren Holmes, who we may someday see him moderating Meet the Press, a politics junkie. He has a great degree from St. Bonaventure, now his master's.
There's Chamo Chachua, threw it right into the hands of Taman Lipsy. Lipsy can't finish, but Holmes can.
Great
8
effort.
points for Jaren Holmes.
Excellent effort. And if it's been an Iowa State TV show so far, it's by design because they have thoroughly outworked the Bears for the first 15 minutes.
This is a team that has been dominant at home all year long, but has struggled on the road. They are up 12 on the number 7 Baylor Bears.
And right now, you got to slow the tempo down. You don't have a break. Again, what did TJ tell us? We want an ugly, muddy game.
Inside, Trey King got fouled, and Dale Bonner got the worst of it.
Hey, Ward, come on.
Well, let's go back and watch LJ Cryer. He doesn't need a lot of room. This is actually somewhat contested. The flyby, and LJ knocks it down, and then on the other end, the steal, Lipsy coast to coast, and watch Jaren Holmes come into your picture, just make a hustle play over Everyday John, someone who is used to making hustle plays, but not that time.
That's what we talk about. Multiple efforts is what you hear TJ Otzelberger referencing all the time for his team. Last week in Ames, when they were getting ready to play West Virginia, albeit they ended up losing that game, but in that practice before that West Virginia game, Fran, all he kept telling his team was, make plays for your teammates. Play for your teammates. And they're doing that today.
Yeah, and you know, if you're watching, if you're an opponent of this team and you go to Kansas City, you know you're going to get their best shot. Their scouting reports are on target. They make you play left-handed, which means they try to take away your strengths. And if they make enough jump shots, they're not a great shooting team, but when they do, they can beat anybody in this league, and they've proven that.
King misses both. Not a good free throw shooting team are the Cyclones.
That's what we call an invisible turnover right there. Got what they wanted, came up empty.
Here's Flagler. Just 2 points so far.
Great help by Ward right there. Great help.
And a steal by Holmes.
Hassan Ward came over and switched onto Flagler, and there was no communication other than great body language.
Eli King off the mark. Ward and Chamwachachua fight for the rebound. And we've reached our final media timeout of the first half. A 12-point Iowa State lead with 3:32 to go.
Right there, that's what we call that. 5 guys working in concert together, and today the numbers speak to what they've done for most of the year.
Yeah, it's strength on strength. Iowa State, the best defense in the Big 12. Baylor, the best offense in the Big 12. And as the cliche goes, Fran, defense travels. And so far it has, limiting the Baylor Bears to just 14 points.
King with a nice job in the lane. Didn't run anybody over. Bridges was there. King hit a tough shot. Eli King, how cool is this? Freshman from Minnesota. He's an all-state player. Has played very little this year. He's out there grinding.
There's Bryant. Bonner. Spot up 3. Got it.
Big-time shot by Bonner. King gambled. Came over. He thought he could get the steal, but he left Bonner open. And Dale Bonner's shooting has really improved. Baylor going to the zone. Again, just trying to change the momentum and break up what's been a pretty efficient Iowa State offense. They've hit the fastball. Now Scott Drew's going to throw the curve.
Another floater off the mark. Ward contributing again. That one's blocked by Keontae George. And we saw Dale Bonner hit that 3.
That ball was deflected.
Yeah.
That ball was deflected. Oh, it changes trajectory and spin, and not one of the 3 officials saw the deflection. Now listen, it's one play in a long game. It's not going to affect the outcome of the game, but it was missed. And when you're on the road in this league, you need everything go your way. Let's see if Baylor can capitalize.
Bridges. No. And a foul on the floor. Kalsher down on the deck. And that's going to be Kalsher's second foul of the game.
This reminds me of the Arkansas game that we were here for in the SEC Big 12 Challenge, where Arkansas got out to a comfortable lead and Baylor was able to chip back and chip it away in the second half. Too easy.
George way off on the top of the key 3. And it's going to be Iowa State basketball, and that bench is fired up. A lot of energy coming from the Cyclones.
What I like about them is they've been through a lot of adversity. You know, the #1 job description of a college coach is crisis management coordinator. And they had crisis this week, having to remove Caleb Grill from the team. And Rich, I don't know if they'll win this game. They've got a long way to go, but I just love the effort they've made. And the Bears are sleepwalking right now. They've got to do a better job.
Jones gets the front end of the 1-and-1. Just a 40% free throw shooter on the season. So, as you like to say, the next one's gravy.
Yeah, you know, as a coach, when you had a guy like this who gives you a lot of effort but not a good shooter, and usually a big guy, you just pray for one. And I'm okay with that. If I'm coaching, you gave me one out of two big guys, it's cheap rebound.
Bonner,
nice.
The blow by.
Oh! So much confidence from a young man who was in witness protection for about a month. And he was frustrated. We talked to him about it, but only in a way that he wanted to continue to be a great teammate.
And now the Baylor defense ratcheting things up. 10 on the shot clock. Lipsy out to Holmes for three. Way off the mark. And Dale Bonner is down again.
Technical foul by Scott Drew. He was overly demonstrative. And Ray Natili
who was scoreless in the first half after scoring 23 points the first time these two teams met.
By the way, these are never easy, shooting technical fouls on the road. You feel like you're naked without your teammates out there.
A 73% free throw shooter on the season, and the senior calmly nails the first.
And I think Scott was making a point. Not only was he right, but he was also just setting a tone. There you go. It's not easy.
Sure got them both.
Now, Bonner will shoot the play, the fouls down here, and then the ball will be in play on these free throws.
And the reason Dale Bonner's at the free throw line, even though the foul was 94 feet away, both teams are in the bonus now. 1:35 to go, so free throws coming on every subsequent foul.
If you're TJ Otzelberger right now, you do not want to squander prosperity. You cannot let Baylor get on these runs. Like you can't give up a 5-0 run here in the last 134.
And a rare miss at the free throw line. They're the best free throw shooting team in the conference.
I actually thought that ball went out on Baylor, but I think TJ did too. But you can't review that.
So now Bonner will trigger the inbounds.
Look at this. Look at this.
Chachua chases it down.
They got numbers if they move it. Good recovery.
Bonner, another blow by. Oh my!
Resurrected from the dead of the bench. Very limited minutes. 11 total minutes in 6 games. 3 DNPs. We've chronicled the last 2. And just love the fact that when he was called on, he's doing what he's doing.
From out of Fairmont State, he now has 8 points to lead the Bears.
If you're Scott Drew right now, if you could get this to 7 or 8, 6, you would be ecstatic. Little zone by the Bears. The game within the game, the last minute 14.
Counting down to 1 minute to go. King doubled in the post, threw it away.
Watch John Chachua. He's as good a talker as you'll see. He's the Ray Lewis. He's the middle linebacker. He's the quarterback of the defense. And because he's the back guy on the defense in that zone, he sees everything. And you see the energy and the turnover.
That's the 9th Iowa State turnover. Baylor trying to turn it into points. And a foul on the floor.
Right now, if you're the Cyclones, you just want to get to halftime. I would take a 9-point lead right now. If you're Scott Drew, you're trying to carve into this deficit so that the climb uphill to start the second half is not a steep one.
So up to the line steps fabulous freshman Keontae George, the 5th top scoring freshman in the nation. Has set a Baylor record this year with 12 20-plus point games.
Scott Drew's had so many great players here, so many great freshmen. Jared Butler dropped 30 at Allen Fieldhouse as a freshman. By the way, congratulations to Jared. He's just been called up, signed by the Oklahoma City Thunder this week.
Offensive rebound. Cryer. And we're going the other way.
Big miss, big miss. Now, if you're Iowa State, obviously you want to score, but what you don't want to do is give Baylor the ball back with a lot of time. You would take a 9-point lead right now. If T.J. Otzelberger could settle for 9, he would take it and run with it.
Kalsher in, Watson out.
Yep. You don't want to turn it over and give Baylor an easy basket. Baylor, on the other hand, they got to throw a little caution to the wind right now defensively. And let's see if they go back and sit in that zone. They do.
6-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
I swear I'd almost shoot this ball at 1 and shoot it with helium on it too, a 3. You know what I mean?
Bounce pass.
They'll take that. They'll take that in a heartbeat.
Last shot time for the Bears. Down 11. 3 seconds. George. Short on the 3. And a dominant first half by the Iowa State Cyclones.
They were leaky royal the last month of the season, but they got it fixed. Take a look. You'll see a different effort from the Bears. If you're the Cyclones, you must match it. Otherwise, you wasted 20 minutes.
And if you're just tuning in, why is this game important? Well, for the Cyclones, if they win, they avoid playing on Wednesday in the Big 12 tournament. They advance automatically to the quarterfinals. If Baylor wins and they get some help from Kansas State and Texas, both losing, they could be as high as a number 2 seed in Kansas City. And a Baylor turnover to start the second half.
If they win, Rich, this will be the biggest Iowa State win of the season, based on what's happened and what's at stake. And this is a team that's had a lot of good wins. A little pressure now by Baylor. They threw a little 3/4 court zone at him.
Here's Holmes all alone, but a whistle kills the play. And that foul's going to be on Tamin Lipsey.
Flo Thamba has probably done that at least 100 times in his career. Watch him just sit there and wait for Lipsey to run into him. An easy call. Lipsey a little out of control right there.
Flo Thamba, the winningest player in the Big 12 in Baylor basketball history.
Clones are locked in terms of scouting report. That's a kick ball. New clock, it'll go to 20. What happens at this time of year is there are no secrets. So basically every time L.J. Cryer comes off the screen, Tamin Lipsey's coming off the screen like he wants to get the shot. Execution is critical.
And Ray Natili right there says Jalen Bridges stepped on the sideline.
When King went over the screen, Bridges stepped away from him, but in doing so, he did not have educated feet and was on the sideline. That would drive me crazy. Guys that step out of bounds on the sideline. Staying in the zone. And I really don't think this hurts the Cyclones that much because it allows them to really control the tempo.
Trying to force them to shoot outside, not a strength of Iowa State. They do from the corner, and Trey King makes them pay.
Watch him next year. We'll tell you the story now. He's going to be a very good Big 12 player next year. Didn't get eligible till the end of the season, December. So he's just getting his feet wet. Young man from Lexington, Kentucky. Watch that pass.
And Fran, 11 assists on 14 made field goals for the Clones. George, tough too. Got it to go somehow.
Oh, man, that's one of those. No, nice shot. Tough one, but he's done that all year. Really talented young freshman, Keontae. And he's a guy we know is not afraid of big moments.
Last time these teams played, Keontae George had 16 points, and 15 of them came in the second half.
Last time they played, it was no L.J. Cryer. Good skip.
Here's George for three. Lothama got the rebound and the foul.
Let's go back and watch the ball movement against the zone. Baylor zone. Drive it, kick it, swing it, shoot it. And then Keontae George, tough shot taker and often a tough shot maker. That will serve him well in his future.
Projected as a lottery pick. Coming up this spring as Lothama misses the first one.
Lothama, Rich, we've seen it over 4 years. Prior to December 18th, he was shooting 41% from the line. Watch how little movement now. He's just going to go up and follow through. And he's making 72% of his free throws since December 18th. They've worked on eliminating a lot of movement in the shot. Kudos to Bill Peterson on that coaching staff. And he's reliable now.
The lead still 11. That's what it was at halftime. Coming up on 3 minutes gone by in the second half. Here's King. He's been the offensive spark so far, but not that time.
Good look. Just couldn't knock it down. Oh, nice.
Flagler.
Nice.
Will go to the line.
Lothama did a really good job of sealing off the lane. All he was doing was running down the court. Watch Flo now. He's going to eliminate the help right here. Oshuni, a really good shot blocker, but he couldn't get back in front because Flo kept running, and then he stopped, so he wasn't setting a moving screen.
Adam Flagler, among many accolades, an 84% free throw shooter, and he gets the first. UFC 285 tonight from Las Vegas, another stat card with 2 title fights. John Jones makes his long-awaited return. The main card begins at 10 Eastern on pay-per-view with the prelims at 8 Eastern on ESPN. To order the main card, go to espnplus.com/pay-per-view. Jones going for his second.
Have you seen some of the back and forth? Those two guys do not like each other.
Yeah.
Man.
Was the light heavyweight champion back in the day, now going for the heavyweight championship.
All right, staying in the zone.
Holmes.
Oh, great
tip in by Oshuni, and are they going to count it?
Wow.
They're going to say it was in the cylinder, no bucket.
Oshuni he's allowed to touch the net, but not if the ball is on the rim in the cylinder. Let's take a look right now. It's going to be, it's called offensive interference. As the shot goes up. I couldn't tell. I'd love to see that again if we can, but easy to second guess from here. You're allowed to have your hand on the rim or the net as long as the ball is not on the rim. It can be above the cylinder, but that was a close call.
Why is TJ running a 1-3-1 against Baylor's offense?
Because he just wants to continue to mix it up, and you can't give these open shots up. That's the problem. You're just trying to throw different pitches at Baylor, but you cannot leave shooters like that wide open. I don't think they'll stay in there long.
A 7-0 Baylor run, they're right back in it.
No surprise, right?
Here's Kuntz from the wing, short, and a foul on the floor.
Let's go back and watch and see if we can freeze it. And that shot goes up, that ball is up. Good call.
Yeah.
There you go. Little delayed by the official. I never minded when the official takes a half second to call it if he gets it right. It's clear they got it right on that one.
Well, first 4 minutes have gone by. What do you think, Frank?
Baylor. Well, we told him. Look at this. Shots that went in the first half, not going in now. Hardest part for a team with a big lead like this on the road is maintaining momentum when you know number 7's coming out with fire in their eyes. Too easy.
Bridges, Cryer, trying again. The tip back by Bridges.
As usual.
And now Flagler got his first triple of the game.
Yep, here they come. Jalen Bridges I don't think he'll get any. He may get a rebound on that, but he made that play. He's done it all Big 12 season.
Scott Drew exhorting the Baylor Bear faithful inside the Ferrell Center. Nice pass. And the extra pass. And that foul's going to go on Thamba.
Can't keep a good team down, especially behind the arc. Defense. And I thought the value to his team, TCU, who is capable of going to a Final Four, was set when Mike did miss those 6 games. So Mike proved me wrong. You're one of the best guards in the country. And it's a tough call. Now, you know, some leagues they go 6 guys, 7 guys, 8 guys, 9 guys, and I had to go with 5, you know. And Mike's certainly as talented as any one of those guys, but he missed those 6 games. So
as good as this league is, the second team all Big 12 is probably as talented as the first team for many other conferences.
I think that's safe to say. The best league in the country. When your 10th place team beats Alabama by 24, tells you something about your league.
Right now, Alabama the overall #1 seed, but Kansas could very well end up being the top seed come NCAA tournament time.
Good skip.
Fryer got into the Clown defense, but in and out on the shot. Offensive rebound, Bridges, too strong.
What I love about the next 14 minutes is everything in the paint is going to be contested. Everyday John, Bridges, Ashuni, Kuntz.
Iowa State is led by as many as 14.
They need to get back to 10.
And Jaren Holmes, who practices that floater all day and every day, has 10.
Kalsher is a really, really good defender. As good a defender on the perimeter as you'll see right there with McCullough.
Shot off the mark by Bonner. Back-to-back empty possessions for the Baylor offense.
Psychologically, Rich, they lost that lead. They're kind of stemming the tide a little bit. Cyclones, Baylor trying to claw in it.
Kalsher. Good shot fake, and he gets the jumper to go.
He's made that shot all year long. He has had a phenomenal. I think he's not first team to me, but he certainly would be worthy of second team All-League. But to your point, this league has a lot of guys like Kalsher.
Just 4 points today, but that was a big one to extend the Iowa State lead to double digits.
LJ wanted Everyday John to roll a little harder, and John just didn't run under that. And this is what I'm talking about, Rich. Psychologically, when you're on the road, you don't want to work for 20 minutes and give up your 11 to 12-point lead, and they've done a good job of getting back to double digits.
Iowa State answered Baylor's 10-0 run with a 6-0 run of their own.
And how about King back and Ward back? 2 guys that were not getting a lot of playing time.
Energy givers today.
They have been.
Nice pass.
Yeah.
Kalsher. Ward for 2 off the window.
Execution has been outstanding. Great job by Kalsher. That's what we call a 2-foot stop with educated feet right there. That block charge nonsense is nonsense if you play with educated feet. Watch Gabe now. He's going to get into traffic. And watch him just come to a good 2-foot stop. Pulls up right before he gets to Everyday John.
That's called making a play for your teammate.
Well, that's what this team's been about for 2 years.
It's going to go on Hassan Ward, his first personal.
Well, TJ Otzelberger told us he would play everybody today, and he has, including walk-on Connor Hawley, the former football player.
That one tipped away. Eli King gives it up to Trey King.
Too fancy. Good job by Everyday John. And he throws it away.
It'll stay Iowa State basketball.
Trey King needed to throw this into John's face. Of course, that would have been fun to see because John went, watch this. Trey double pumps here because John is so athletic. No, bro, just go in and dunk that. And then an unfortunate pass there by John.
Again, if Iowa State wins, they assure themselves of a quarterfinal spot in the Big 12 tournament. That means they won't have to play an extra game on Wednesday. And another foul.
Jones had the mismatch on Flagler, so he cleared everybody out, and he made Adam guard him.
That's going to be the third foul on Adam Flagler with 12:14 to go.
Gives the Clones another 20 seconds.
Kalsher, step back. Loves that shot.
Oh, man. Have we watched him do this all year? 5 games of 23 plus. The Minnesota transfer. Good job. That's one that TJ didn't want to give up. That's what we call that short roll. And John did a good job of just finding the open man. They go back to man now.
There's Lipsy, a rare jump shot from the freshman point guard.
Got to get that ball side to side against this no-middle defense.
Baylor's offense has been bothered all day. Quick shot. Chumwachachua, one and done, though, for the Bears.
I like that. I like letting him shoot that short roll shot. I would live with that if I was TJ. They're putting pressure on the point guards, and they're leaving John open.
Lipsy forgoes the shot, gives it back to Kalsher. Can't hit a back-to-back three for good, but an offensive rebound by Jones. And again, that's Trey King, who made a three earlier today, but has only made 4 all season. When we come back, Keontae George will re-enter the game, and we'll tell you what else we could tell you about Fran.
You know, they were in the conversation. Amazing to see the way KJ Adams has improved. You know, I will say this. It's hard for Bill Self or Scott Drew. Bill Self did an amazing job of losing 75% of his scoring and winning another title. He is the best coach in college basketball, and he's going to go down as one of the 5 or 6 greatest to ever coach. This year, given where Jerome Tang and K-State was picked, we kind of knew KU would be great. We didn't know anything about K-State. I give that one to Jerome.
Flagler got his second triple now.
If you are going to leave him open, you are likely to lose.
Came into this game 5 for his last 12 from 3. He's got 2 today.
Good pass.
Extra pass.
Wow. Great interior passing. That's easier said than done right there. That was 3 big guys essentially handling the ball on that possession. Although Watson a little bit more of a tweener.
Here's Flagler.
This game for the Cyclones right now is going to be about poise. And they have a lot of veterans out there.
They find King, 2 feet in the paint. Trey King tried to scoop it under the rim, and it goes out of bounds, and it'll be Baylor basketball. The early rounds of the Phillips 66 Big 12 tournament can be seen at Big 12 Now on ESPN+. It all starts Wednesday at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. But if you want to come, tickets are for the event are on sale at big12sports.com/buy tickets. I'll be there. Fran will be there.
It'll be fun. Vicky V's going to be there. By the way, today's the 30th anniversary of the Jimmy V speech, which kicked off the V Foundation. They've raised over $300 million. Just amazing. Doesn't seem like Jimmy V's been gone that long.
George left alone for 3, and he shorted it.
Good traffic rebound right there. And again, it's all about poise and tempo. Baylor goes back to the man. They've been mixing it up. Clones have not had a lot of... There's a steal. Bonner. going to say they haven't had a lot of trouble with the changing defenses. How about a John winner who we haven't seen in a while?
Scott Drew rolling the dice, trying to get some energy out of his Bears. Now 7 on the shot clock. Bonner from the corner. Too strong. And bodies go flying.
Looks like it's going to be on Coons.
That's the... Looks like it's going to be the 4th on Jazz Coons.
Big Josh O'Johnwinner is going to be he's going to come out right now, but he's going to be a very good player. He's had to take a back seat when Everyday John returned, but he's destined for really good things here at Baylor.
Freshman guarding a freshman. Watson checking George. George takes advantage.
Good defense, tough shot. Watson couldn't do anything with it. Tough shot taker, tough shot maker.
The lead is single digits.
And they're daring Taman to shoot.
Contested 3 by Gabe Kalsher.
That is unbelievable. He has made about 50 of those shots this year. Let's see if Keontae winds up again.
And an offensive foul as Keontae George lowered his shoulder into Demarion Watson.
Well, Scott Drew needs more of this.
Goes to cancer research.
They have an amazing vision by Jimmy as he was leaving us. And ESPN, Dickie V, so many people involved in the foundation have raised over $300 million. Oh boy, oh boy.
Kalsher, extra pass, Watson with the flush.
They put the pressure on, and what you got to do against pressure is make them pay. And you could not, if you're a Cyclone fan, you got to be proud of this team. Facing the adversity of losing. And their defense, look at this defense, man. I'm telling you right now, the air's come out of the balloon for Baylor. It's almost like they're giving up, like they don't have answers.
Yeah, that foul is going to be on Bonner. Consider this, friend. Baylor is the best free throw shooting team in the league. They're 5 for 10 from the line today. They're the best three-point shooting team in the league, and they're 5 for 15.
That's defense. Anybody who's seen this team for 2 years, Cyclones, they know this is not an uncommon occurrence.
Kalsher, and he drew the foul on Dale Bonner. Gabe Kalsher will go to the line to shoot a triple.
Rich, I thought the key part of this game, obviously it was a great first half, but I've been there on both sides of it to start a second half where you played so well, first 20 minutes. They didn't give up the lead. It got to 6 maybe, but they wouldn't let Baylor get this crowd back in it. And right now, this is a very quiet final Big 12 home game in the Ferro Center, and all credit goes to the Cyclone team.
Yeah. 12 of their 17 Big 12 games, they've held their opponents to under 70 points.
Yep.
And they're on track to do it again today.
And by the way, they're going to the NCAA tournament. If there was any doubt, this puts it to rest, no matter how this game is the outcome. Because if you're on the committee, you're looking at this team and saying, given what they've done in the Big 12, they may get to 9-9. This team can win games in the NCAA tournament, like they did last year when they beat LSU with all those athletes in Wisconsin.
Currently, Joe Lunardi has Iowa State as a 7. A win today could obviously push them up to a 6 or more.
Hey, TJ, let me tell you something. TJ Otzelberger doesn't care about seeding right now. You know what I mean? Always worried about 6 minutes and 35 seconds. All right, if you're Baylor, you got to have a hurry-up offense. You can't milk too much time. You got to play downhill. And against this defense, it's not easy.
Bridges working the baseline.
Ooh, tough one. Yep. If I'm the Cyclones now, I take the air out of it. I know you don't want to stop looking to score, but you want to make sure every shot is a good one and if every possession is a positive one.
Iowa State's been victimized by having large leads and coughing them up. But right now they've extended to the largest lead of the game against Baylor, 16. And now it's 18.
Just took it right through. Shoot. That is so good, such good post work. He was patient, he looked middle, he looked for double teams, he looked where Thamba was, and he made him pay. All right. Do they have a run in them? 18 is not insurmountable, now down to 15. Just ask Tom Izzo in Michigan State against Iowa. 11 points, over a minute. Came back, Iowa.
So Flagler has 12, 10 of them coming in the second half.
Thamba is guarding Lipsy. A 6'11 guy is guarding your point guard because he's not a shooter.
Offensive rebound, Watson. And it's back out with 5 minutes to go in the game. TJ Alterberger's Cyclones looking for a huge way to end the regular season. And Demarion Watson all alone underneath.
Near perfect 35 minutes so far by Iowa State. Pryor. And that's what I'm talking about, Rich. You got to play quick now. You may take some tough shots, but you got to make every possession a quick one if you're Baylor and want to come back. It's like hurry up offensive football. It's like you're down 2 scores.
Another bounce pass, another extra pass. And Trey King will go to the line.
We always used to talk to our teams on the road. Let's play TV timeout to TV timeout. And I think today, Iowa State has done an incredible job of doing that. You know, they're going to get under 4 now with a double-figure lead. You couldn't ask for a better script if you're the road team in this league.
4 fouls now on Adam Flagler. Trey King makes the first of 2. Again, more college basketball coming your way on ESPN. Number 3 Texas and number 9 Kansas at 4 Eastern. That number 2 seed in the Big 12 tournament still up for grabs for the Longhorns. Duke and North Carolina at 6:30 Eastern, the greatest rivalry in the sport. And then a Pac-12 battle between 2 Titans, number 4 Arizona and number 8 UCLA.
Really happy for my guy, John Shire, one of the nicest guys. I saw them lose to Miami by 30, and look at despair on their face. I didn't know who his wife was, and I saw her in the hallway afterwards. She had Duke blue on, and I said, "Are you guys with the team?" And one of the other ladies with her said, "Well, this is Mrs. Shire." And I said to her, "I feel so bad for you. Things will get better." Because anybody who's been a coach's wife, like my wife has and many others, you know the feeling of getting destroyed. But it's so great to see Duke back on track. And John is a wonderful guy, and he's going to do a great job at Duke.
Completed the home portion of their season undefeated.
Yes, they did. Yep. They got a great guy there. All right, got to press now. Again, this is where you throw caution to the wind. They're not a pressing team, but they got him for stepping over the line, and I hope he was over the line, because if he's on the line, that's legal. In fact, there's no line, so he's probably on the court. Let's watch King.
Yep.
Here we go. Yep, good call. Marcus Pettigrew on his game.
It's the 13th Iowa State turnover.
Those are the kind of turnovers you can't have now as you try to maintain this lead.
George. No whistle.
No, that was a great defensive play, Rich. In the dotted circle, he went vertical. And teams practice that now. Really good defense right there.
Inside again, following the script. Iowa State pounding it down low. 13 for Trey King. And 34 paint points for the Cyclones. Timeout on the floor. A frustrated flat.
And really, really impressive so far.
For the Bears.
Adam Flagler with a little leg kick out on that last three-point shot. Sneaky veteran move. And basketball gods don't lie.
Yeah. Just been a tough day offensively for the best offense statistically in the Big 12. As a matter of fact, Ken Pom has them as the #2 team in offensive efficiency nationally.
Wow. How about this? You just saw history right here. I can't remember the last time I saw Adam miss 2 in a row.
Flagler, an 84% free throw shooter. And there's Tamarian Watson going to the bench. And we've seen TJ Otzelberger coaching his butt off today, but he has been a cheerleader on the sidelines as well.
That'll never happen again.
No.
I don't think we'll ever see that again. Adam Flagler just missed 3 in a row.
And as a team, Baylor is 7 for 15 from the free throw line.
Bears back to man-to-man. It looks like they're increasing the temperature. A lot of switching, very aggressive. Gaucher will get a shot.
Short, but it's tracked down by Jaren Holmes.
Look at Holmes. It's like he just stole somebody's candy bar. He just took that rebound and dribbled it out to midcourt.
10 on the shot clock. Holmes got the foul and will go to the line.
All right, this is about over, and I want to tell you something. I got goosebumps, Rich, because if you've gone through a stretch, and we've all done it, that's why I'm with you now. When you've gone through a stretch where you've lost, what is it, 7 out of 8, and you're in the best league in the country, and you just have to kick off a good player, this is coaching, okay? Because we saw it last night, and I didn't know they'd come in and win, but we both said before the game, they're dialed in. And there's no greater feeling in the world than a coach who has put together a game plan when the chips are down, and you feel like the kids buy in. And they've got 2.5, 3 minutes to go, but what a performance.
And just to put it in a larger context, Fran, Iowa State has only won 1 game ever in Waco in the Farrell Center. They're seeking their first win since 2013. It's been a decade since a Cyclones team has come in and beaten Baylor at Baylor. And they're on the verge of doing that today.
You got to play quickly now. That's it. You got to play quickly and hope for a foul. And if you're Jaren Holmes and you know the officials are going to call that, you got to stay away from the shooter. Holmes got too close to him. He knows. But what he's got to also know is they're going to quit shooting now.
So L.J. Cryer will step to the line. 10 points on the day, make it 11.
Baylor's going to keep the press on and hope for something that we haven't seen for 37 minutes, and that is Iowa State losing their composure.
Again, if Scott Drew's team ends up losing this game, they will not be a 2 seed, that's for sure. They'll have to watch what happens with Texas and Kansas State at West Virginia to see if they're a 3 or a 4 seed.
Here comes the pressure now. And again, if you're Baylor, lots of hard traps. Cyclones. Oh, we got a deflection. That's a block. That's a good call. Yep. Easy call. Marcus Pettigrew. Again, not a bad play. You got to make something happen if you're Keontae George. In my opinion, he was not set. Good wake-up call, you know, for Baylor going into the tournament.
Yep. Baylor has won 6 of their last 8 coming into today. And now they'll have the rest of this afternoon to watch more Big 12 basketball as the curtain comes down on the regular season to see who they will be playing on Thursday in the quarterfinals.
By the way, how about this kid? Freshman, started every game from Ames. He grew up about 4 miles from the campus. Long line of Ames high school players. Harrison Barnes, Freddie Hoiberg, Doug McDermott. He's been really outstanding in orchestrating this offense. Got to go quick now.
Lipsy has 5 assists today. Single season-wise, top 5 in steals and assists for any Cyclone freshman.
They are really well coached versus that pressure. And Jaren Holmes Holmes, he's going to conduct and build.
The lob, Holmes to Oshuni, a St. Bonaventure connection.
I'd say the A-10 saw that for 4 years. Two great transfers.
I don't think anyone could have seen this coming. An 18-point Iowa State lead with 1:50 to go.
Right now, TJ Otzelberger, he's not going to react. He's going to be very humble. But he's got his heart popping out of his chest. Watch the little dish. Brother to brother came together. To Ames.
One thing about this Iowa State team, they are veterans. They're old. They might not have all been playing together for a long time in Ames, but they're experienced.
Smart move. You got enough points right now. You just want that clock to run.
10 to shoot. Iowa State looking for their 5th win against the top 10 team. That would tie them with Kansas for most in the country in that category.
Well, they ended any doubt that they're a tournament team. That's for sure. They're going to get their 18th. They're going to 9-9. That 2-hour flight home to Ames is going to be it's going to be fun. You know what I always say, those Subway sandwiches are going to taste like filet mignon. Now, they probably eat a little bit better than when I was coaching at Manhattan College, okay? Just so people know. And Scott Drew is going to put the white flag up. How about TJ Otzelberger playing Hassan Ward, Connor Hawley, and Eli King? And we mentioned Dean Smith used to do that with his blue team. They held the fort down, Rich. They didn't give up the lead.
Eli King got on the floor.
What's the name of what's Hawley's nickname?
Oh, Conrad Hawley. He's the CEO.
What is that?
Chief Energy Officer.
He brought it on and off the court today.
Absolutely. You know, sometimes adversity can galvanize your team. I think we witnessed that today with Iowa State.
Well, and likewise, it might wake up Baylor now as they hit to Kansas City.
Flagler with 15, but too little, too late.
I would say, and I could be dead wrong, but I think other than those two,
as you probably know if you're a college basketball fan, Duke, North Carolina is not only the most heated rivalry, but it's also the closest rivalry, and these numbers bear that out.
Well, no question, they haven't either been as good as advertised this season. It tells you how good a coach Bill Self is, that our friend Hubert Davis had everybody return from the championship game team. Bill Self lost 75% of the scoring, and they're going to be a 1 seed for sure. And just icing on the cake, Rich.
A near team for Holmes.
Yeah, a near perfect performance. Obviously, some turnovers, but just an amazing game. I'm stunned. I'm sure you are too.
Well, this will assure TJ Otzelberger and the Iowa State Cyclones of not having to play on Wednesday in Kansas City in the Big 12 tournament. With this win and a TCU loss, they could be as good as a 5 seed. With this win and an Oklahoma State loss or a TCU win, they'll be a 6 seed.
I never liked that. I never liked giving the other team a turnover. I would have just thrown it up at the rim. But then it's a tough shot, too. But I don't think Jazz Coons cares about a turnover right now.
Well, a disappointing loss for the Baylor Bears in the final Big 12 game at the Farrell Center. Adam Flagler will be credited with the last bucket, fittingly so. But it was all Iowa State this afternoon. 73-58 as time runs out. A 15-point win by the Cyclones on the road.